Bitcoin just created a new all-time high. Look at it at this very point, and this is $123,000 all the way to the upside. And from this very point, there is a little divergence that is coming up on the MACD indicator. Look at it. From this very point, market move upward to this very area and is still moving. And from here, we are seeing this very movement on the MACD histogram, which means a potential divergence is coming right in on this very chart. I'll discuss all of this and many more in this very video. And if you look at Ethereum, market is not moving aggressively as expected. With this very move right here moving upward, this very move lack momentum and strength. What next? Can the market come back down a little bit so as to gain momentum before the next move all the way to the upside, or we're going to see market just come all the way downward into this very area? And if you look at Solana right now, market is maintaining stability at this very point. What next? And on Sui, look at it at this very point, market pumped today all the way to this very point, and this market have capability of retracing a little bit before the final move all the way to the upside. All of this and many more in this video. Watch this video all the way to the very end. The first thing here is the price of BTC. If you look at it, market have been moving all the way to the upside, and this very move is very, very important because if you look at altcoin, we've not seen that aggressive move in the price of altcoin, and Bitcoin have been moving all the way to the upside. Market move from here all the way to this very point. We see consolidation, market broke out, and market is still moving upward. So right now, what next for the market? What I am expecting is for the market to continue this movement at least 1 to 2 candles all the way to the upside. So the possibility of market hitting $125,000 is right in the market. Of course, I was expecting market to retrace last week, and what we see right here is consolidation. So market can either consolidate or retrace, okay? And that is what you must have to pay attention to. It must not be that market is going to definitely retrace. Sometimes when the momentum is very strong in the market, you don't see retracement. You can only see consolidation. In this very case, market can be consolidating within two horizontal boundaries of resistance and support before the next move to the upside. And that is why we see this very consolidation within this very area, and then this very candle right here broke out before this move we are seeing right now in the market. So it's the same thing compared to retracement, because I was expecting that market retrace into this very area before the next move to the upside, or retrace back down before the next move to the upside. So right now, I don't think with this kind of momentum we have in the market is going to come back into this very area of $113,000. The possibility is still there, but right now the momentum is very, very strong on Bitcoin. So expecting the market to come all the way to $113,000 will be a massive drop all the way to the downside, which can trigger fear in the market for market to keep going all the way to the downside. So I'm not looking at this level anymore, so I have to remove this. And if you look at this very point, I am still expecting that the market have possibility of coming back down into this very area, which is very, very interesting on price action right at this very point. So market have capability of coming back down into this very point of important level of support, okay, before the next move to the upside. This is within the $117,000. Market can come back down. Remember, tomorrow is the CPI data, and the CPI data is what we use to gauge inflation, especially in the US economy. And when that data comes out tomorrow, it's also going to tell us what is going to happen in the next coming days and weeks in the market. Not only that, it's also going to tell us what Fed is going to do next, whether they're going to keep interest rates unchanged or they're going to cut interest rates. Either of the situation is going to definitely happen. So what I am expecting right now is for the market to continue this move all the way to the upside into the $125,000. Within the $125,000 and $126,000, within this very area, I am now expecting retracement to come in before the next move to the upside. Of course, market within this very area of $126,000 at this very point, and where the market is right now, can also consolidate, just like we see at this very point market consolidate. So we can see market move upward and then consolidate within this very area before the next move to the upside as well, just like we saw at this very point. So these are possibilities you must have to pay attention to in the market right now. So on the immediate short term, what you must have to keep your eye on is for the market to move a little bit upward, in my opinion, before retracement is going to come in. So definitely retracement is going to come in this very week. Like I said earlier, it must not be an aggressive retracement. It can just be a consolidation within this very area before the next move to the upside, just like we saw at this very point last week. So this is what you must have to pay attention to right now on the Bitcoin 4-hour chart. And if you look at the 1-day chart right here, it is covered that this very chart still look very, very bullish. In my opinion, the 1-day chart still have capacity of moving all the way to the upside. And if you look at this very trend line right here, this trend line is coming from the weekly chart, okay? And if the weekly trend line is at this very point, it also points us to the fact that markets can move all the way into this very area, approaching this very point of $130,000 and $132,000 before the final retracement is going to come into the market before the next move all the way to the upside, because this very trend line that we are seeing right here from the weekly time frame is very, very important on price action right now. So on the 1-day chart, the market is still very, very bullish in my opinion. And why am I saying this? Because if you look at this very price action, at this very point, we saw a pause at this very point with this very doji candle at this very point. Okay, we have this doji bearish candle at this very area, and after that, yesterday we see this very market pump all the way to the upside that created a new all-time high before this candle that is forming right now, right here, that is forming at this very point with this new all-time high of $123,000. This is what you must have to pay attention to. On the 1-week chart, market is still going to go upward. The momentum is very strong. On the 1-day chart, market is still going to move upward. The momentum is very, very strong. And on the 4-hour chart, expect little retracement before continuation to the upside, because the uptrend is also very, very strong on the 4-hour chart, but retracement is needed for good move all the way to the upside on the 4-hour chart. And if you look at the Ethereum price action, it is covered that market move from this very point right here all the way to the upside. We have just little correction right here, and market move this much, which means if you look at this very length, okay, market move from here to this very point, and market is moving right now from here to this very point. One thing that is very obvious on this price action is that if you compare the strength of the candles within this very area, it is covered that the strength of the candles are very, very strong to what we are seeing at this very point, which means momentum is gradually dying down on this very Ethereum price action. And one of the reasons why we've not seen aggressive pump in the price of altcoins, especially in the price of Ethereum, is because if you look at ETH BTC chart, you discover that that chart have not really moved all the way to the upside. And for Ethereum and other altcoins to have aggressive pump to the upside, we must have to see that chart make progressive move all the way to the upside. And this is very important if you really want to know why Ethereum is not pumping. I'm going to do a video on that very chart and show you what you need to know, especially for the next altcoin pump that's going to come in the market very soon. So what you need to expect is for the market to move slightly upward within this very area of $3,150, okay, within this very area right here. Market is going to correct to this very point before the next move to the upside. So key point of interest on the Ethereum price action right now that you must focus on is number one, this very area right at this very point, very important area. Okay, so market can just shift into this very point before the next move to the upside, or we have this very fair value gap at this very point where the market touch at this very level, which is also very important. Market touch this fair value gap at this very point before this move to the upside. So market can also come back down into this very area before the next move to the upside. These are the two most important level, in my opinion, on this very price action that you must have to pay attention to be in the right direction of the market. So the first area is here, and the second zone you have to keep your eye on is at this very point. These are the levels I am personally looking at right now on this very price action ETH 4-hour chart. And if you look at Solana, you discover that it's not really pumping as well. From this very point, market move upward, and then we have retracement into this very area of resistance, now support, market move up again. And what next? Because we're having down momentum at this very point. So what I am expecting on this very price chart is for the market to have down momentum moving forward, okay, so that we can have retracement before the next move to the upside. So the key point of interest on this very price chart is this very area. This very point right here is very, very important, because this is where we see this very move upward. So this very point of important support is very, very critical in the market. And then the next point is this very area, okay? This very point is the next point you have to keep your eye on to be in the right direction of the markets on Solana. So market is going to move slightly all the way to the upside, in my opinion, before the market is going to correct into this very area, before the next move to the upside, or market come back down within this very area into this very point, and then the next move to the upside. These are the two possible scenarios you have to keep your eye on as well on the price of Solana. Don't allow that big move that will come into the market very soon caught you off guard. You must be on guard as a trader always. Not 100% of the time, but if you can do 70, 80, and 90% of the time, be in the right direction of the market, that can keep you going in this trading journey. And the next thing here is the price of Pi. Look at it, market pump upward, and like I said earlier, the Pi token is just like a pump and dump token, because if you look at it, market pump from here all the way to the upside and dump to the same point. If you look at the price of Solana, it's not like that, okay? Market pump from here and market is at this very point. Good. And if you look at the price of ETH, market pump all the way from this very point to this very area, and it's still maintaining that high. But if you look at the price of Pi, market pump upward from this very point to this very area, and then come back down to the same point, which means if you see a pump on the price of Pi, it means that pump can turn to a dump very, very soon. So what you need to do is to collect profit as soon as possible once a pump occurs on the price of Pi, if you have taken the position before that pump occur in the market. Very, very important. And what I am expecting on this very price action right now, which is not very fine, is at this very area. I am expecting that if the market break out on this level of important resistance, which is resisting the market from here to move upward, then market is going to have capability of moving all the way to the upside significantly, and then it's still going to dump all the way to the downside. However, if the market did not break here, which is what I am expecting as well, market is going to come back down, okay, into this very point before the next move upward. So this very area right here is very, very important on price action, okay? This very point of important support can turn as the next support from this point for the market to move upward if the market did not break out on this level of resistance right here. So this is what I am expecting right now on price action. Pay attention to this on the price of Pi to be in the right direction of the market. This is very important. And if you look at the price of SUI, it's one of the coins that is going to pump very hard in this very bull season. I have some SUI in my portfolio. It's one of those layer 1 coin that is going to do aggressively in this very bull cycle. Why? Because the technology, the mechanism, and the protocol and everything that surrounds the ecosystem is very, very innovative. Not only that, if you look at the SUI token or the SUI coin, it has not experienced any bull market before. This will also be a chance for market makers to test run this token and see how it reacts to the bull market, which we are already in right now. So what I am expecting on this very price action is a little bit movement all the way to the upside into the $4 and $412 before the next move to the downside, and then continuation to the upside. So this is very important. So the point you should be focusing on, which is a point of interest as well on this very price action, is this very area right here. This very point is very, very important. Market can come back down into this very area of fair value gap. So there's a gap at this very point that if the market come into it, market is going to have the possibility and momentum to move all the way to the upside, which you must have to focus on at this very point. And that retracement is needed because you see this very point, market move, retrace a little bit, market has moved again. So little movement upward before the next retracement is needed in the market. Retracement this time around, especially if we see more aggressive pump in the market, may not be that significant all the way to the upside. We will see slight retracement and then continuation, slight retracement and then continuation. And at some point in the near future, we will see good correction all the way to the downside before the final move upward. So on the price of SUI right here, expect the market to move down into this very point of interest. And if you look at global crypto market capitalization on coin market cap, it discovered that there is a significant increase in the price of the global crypto market cap, $3.81 trillion. And my expectation is for this global crypto market cap to go to $10 trillion, 15 and even $20 trillion in this very bull cycle. This is my personal opinion and what I am looking at, because if that happens, it means more liquidity have been injected into the market and the price of Bitcoin is going to go crazy. Ethereum is going to go crazy. Most layer 1 meme token is going to skyrocket off the roof. And this is what you must have to pay attention to. The fear and greed index sitting at the greed position at 70% is a good thing, because when we see this, it makes people to put in more money into their desired cryptocurrency. So these are what you need to pay attention to right now to be in the right direction of the market from now moving forward. Consider supporting this channel by leaving a like for this video, subscribe if you haven't already, and turn on the bell notification for more crypto videos like this one. Also check the channel for all that crypto content. Join our Telegram channel, link in the description of this video and also in the pinned comment. It is a free channel to join right now. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.